The summer heat, it is here to stay, at least for a little while anyway. And while you might find a dip in the pool or time in the AC is enough to keep you cool, staying hydrated is key. Do you know the other nutrition do's and don'ts when it comes to staying safe in the heat? Well, today's To Your Well-Being, we're talking nutrition and about how it can help keep you cool and hydrated on those hot summer days. We're joined by Melissa Leonard, a registered dietitian with Cone Health Nutrition and Diabetes Education Services. All right, so first and foremost, let's talk about, I like this part, the do parts. What are the things that we should do? Like, how much water is really recommended for adults?
And so when it comes to fluid recommendations, it will vary some from one individual to another based on factors like age, size, activity level, and climate. But in general, it's recommended that for adults, they try for a minimum of at least 90 to 120 ounces of water total water per day. And then for like school age kids, somewhere between 60 to about 110 ounces per day. And that might sound like a lot, but that is total water. So that'll include the water we drink through beverages as well as our foods. So I usually recommend for plain water for my patients, minimum 64 for most adults, and trying between a minimum of 32 to 64 for kids based on age and size.
And then how much you're doing and how much you're outside and how hot it is and all that jazz. Okay, so not 10 glasses of water, but we're going to look at something different instead, right? What if you just don't like water? I hear that a lot. Some folks just say, I just don't like it.
So that is a great question, Tanya. And so if drinking water is a real challenge for you, one thing that can really help is keeping that water bottle with you throughout the day. Taking sips here and there can really make a difference with meeting that total goal. Also for kids, maybe letting them choose, a cute, fun water bottle, something maybe their favorite character, favorite design. I mean, I'm an adult and I know cute things motivate me too. So adults too, find a water bottle that works for you. There's many different styles. The ones with the ounces on the outside can be helpful, so you can kind of track your progress. Size, bigger, you don't have to refill as often, but then you do want to think about whether you want to have to lug that thing around. If it's flavor that you're wanting to really, dress up, lots of ways we can naturally do that by adding like slices of fruit, cucumber, even herbs like mint or lavender can really help out.
All right, you can just stick that in your water so it has that flavor there. Okay, so next on the list, we're eating fruits and veggies with high water content. So what would be the most hydrating of things?
Yes, and so while all of our fruits and vegetables generally are going to be good sources of water, some of the highest sources, those that are at least 80% water, are going to be things like lettuce, spinach, cucumbers, carrots, even peppers. And then also for fruits, thinking about melons, grapes, strawberries, and then also even things like peaches, really great source of water.
Okay, all right, and so those are things that, you can take with you to lunch, you can have as a snack, that kind of stuff, so it's easy. How about freezing fruit? Is that a good option? I know people who like to freeze their fruit.
Yeah, so frozen fruit can make a great snack, especially things like grapes, bananas, strawberries, pineapple can do really well frozen. So you could eat it as is for a snack, or you could add it to things like yogurt, things like cereal or oatmeal. If we are going to eat it as is, we do want to let it thaw out a little bit, so it won't be too hard when we bite in. Something I really like too is pureeing fruit, adding a little Greek yogurt and making popsicles. Can be a nice, refreshing snack.
Oh, okay. So instead of the smoothie that you're sipping through the straw, you make it into a popsicle instead. I like it. Okay. So what about some other food beverages do's like that can help you keep hydrated on a hot day?
And so I really encourage everyone to think about creative ways that we can, incorporate more of these hydrating fruits and vegetables in, our favorite meals, snacks. So maybe thinking about, sandwiches. Maybe I can throw some sliced carrots on there, cucumber. Omelets, maybe throw in some tomatoes, peppers. Next time we're having a cookout, think about maybe a slice of like peaches, some pineapple on the grill. That can be really tasty and hydrating. Overall, just trying to make these as convenient as possible for us to grab as a snack or throw into our favorite entree.
I do love some sliced peaches on the grill for sure. All right, well, coming up, we talked about all the do's, which is good. We like to stay positive. Now we're going to talk a little bit about some of the don'ts so that you know what to stay away from in the summer heat. We'll be right back. We are back with Melissa Leonard, a registered dietitian with Cone Health's Nutrition and Diabetes Education Services. So we talked about the do's. Now we're going to talk about the don'ts, the things to avoid and or limit. So let's first start off. How about alcohol?
And so when it comes to alcohol, because of how it's processed in the body, it is going to cause us to lose more fluid. And for that reason, as well as the effects of excessive alcohol intake on our overall health, we do want to limit our intake, as well as not rely on alcohol for hydration. So limiting, trying to have, the recommendation is no more than 1 drink equivalent for women per day and 2 drink equivalents for men, which is 1 drink being like 12-ounce beer, 5 ounces wine, 1.5 ounces for liquor. So what I recommend if we're having those beverages, making sure to have that water bottle along too. So drink, alternate. That can keep us hydrated and also help us prevent overconsumption.
Okay. How about caffeinated drinks? Because I know I drink a good amount of coffee a day. I know a lot of folks instead they drink sodas to keep up their energy during the day. Does that help or hurt the hydration?
And so when it comes to caffeine, it does have what we call a diuretic effect, where it causes us to flush out a little more fluids. However, research has shown that as long as we're not having excessive amounts of caffeine, generally it really doesn't negatively affect our hydration. So while not equal to water, we can still count those caffeinated beverages as part of that fluid total. If we're talking about soda, something we do want to think about, if they have a lot of sugar, if it's regular soda, it's going to add a lot of calories to our day without adding nutrients. So water would still be preferred there, but it will still provide some hydration.
Okay. Now, are there certain foods or certain groups that we should just limit due to its impact on hydration, especially during the hot summer months?
And so there aren't really any foods that we need to avoid or limit for hydration. The key is really focusing on getting that water in, those hydrating fruits and vegetables. And if we're meeting our fluid needs there, we really don't have to worry about avoiding or limiting other things.
All right, how about this? Because people always ask about this, like the timing of when you eat or drink. So does that matter if you're going to be outside for a length of time, going for the walk or going to the pool? Does it matter when you eat or drink?
And so hydration, we definitely do want to think about that timing with activity. And so if we're going to go outside, do some type of physical activity, maybe working in the sun, we do want to be well hydrated. We don't want to start out in what I call a hydration hole. And so if we start those activities, we're already dehydrated. It's going to be really hard for us to catch up on hydration when fluid losses are going to be maximized with all the sweating we're going to be doing. So a great general rule, before, drinking before, during, and after. And a general rule during is for every 30 minutes of sweat-inducing activity, try to get in at least 16 ounces of fluid. And if we're doing activities that last longer than 1 hour, and again, they're working up, pretty good sweat, we do want to replace our electrolytes, something like a sports drink or a powder added to our water.
Oh, okay. All right. And we've got about a minute left. This was probably something we should ask before July 4th, but do's and don'ts for how to keep cold food cold at an outdoor event like a July 4th picnic or whatever else we have.
And so in the heat, so 90 degrees or above, which we see a lot here in North Carolina, cold foods are only good for 1 hour out in the heat. So we do want to have that cooler, pack it with ice, cold packs, and have a thermometer to make sure that food is staying at 40 or below so that it'll be safe to consume.
And I know a lot of people are like, seriously, you want me to have a thermometer? But when you have the thermometer, it lets you know like if there's going to be any bacteria there or not.
Exactly. Yeah. So we just want to be careful. We don't want to have any sickness occurring after those fun events. So better to be safe. So throw that thermometer in there.
Because a lot of times it wasn't that you overate at the picnic. It was something was not good anymore. All right. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. We're going to post all of this information on our website. Just go to the To Your Wellbeing section.